Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Swiss. Continuing on with MLB Monday. I got 2 videos up already. This is the third, doing Blue Jays, Brewers in this one, but we'll go through every single game on the board during the live show. That's at 4 p.m. Eastern time. We're doing WNBA first, then we'll go through the 7 MLB games. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern time. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. Blue Jays, Brewers in Milwaukee. Let's roll.
Welcome to the Swiss. The Swiss. Hey, get the Swiss.
All right, like I said, it's Toronto at Milwaukee starting the series. Brewers are very, very short favorites here. Minus 112, minus 115. Pretty much a pick 'em. Total sitting at 8.5. We got Jose Berrios on the mound for Toronto. Colin Rea pitching for the Brewers. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we got a slight lean on the Blue Jays in the first 5, 2.81 to 2.67, but final score swings back towards Milwaukee. 4.60 to 5.11 Brewers. All right, so let's take a look at this matchup. We got Colin Rea on the mound. On his last 3 starts, he actually has some nice looking numbers. A 180 ERA, 120 whip, 531 expected FIP, indicating he's definitely had a little bit of good luck, and there is regression on the way. But his numbers on the season aren't bad at all. 353 ERA, 135 whip. That could come down a little bit, but for Colin Rea, I mean, these aren't bad. If you take a look at his last few starts on the road in Philly, I mean, no runs. I mean, he had 4 innings of work, 4 hits, 2 walks. I mean, I wouldn't say that's a good start, but could be worse. Pitched well against the Cubs. He pitched okay on the road in Fenway. He really hasn't been that bad. But we do have to point out, if you look at these lineups, the last 3 that he pitched against, Phillies aren't really hitting right now. They're winning games because their starting pitching has been excellent. They have the hottest bullpen in baseball. They haven't really been hitting recently. The Cubs, as we know, not a dangerous lineup. Boston hasn't really been hitting. So really not as impressive when you take a look at who he pitched against. Now he's matched up against Toronto, and the Blue Jays are hitting. In the last 14 days, this is a top 10 lineup against righties. Same thing in the last 30 days. They've also been hitting on the road. In the last 30 days, they're 6th in WRC+, 6th in OPS, 6th in WOBA. So they're hitting righties recently. They're hitting on the road. The last 4 righty starters to pitch against Toronto, they combined for a 470 ERA, 130 whip, 493 expected FIP. So not absolutely crushing righty starters, but they are getting runs across. So they've been productive. Also, Colin Rea struggled with walks. He's got a walk rate over 8%. Blue Jays, one of the best lineups in baseball against righties with a walk rate above 8%. 9th in ERA, 5th in whip, 1st in expected FIP. Those are starting pitchers' numbers against the Blue Jays that fit that criteria. But here's the thing, as I was going through this game, first couple things I looked at made it seem like Toronto should be able to score runs on Rea. But then I saw a couple things I actually like. Number 1, the home-away splits. On the season, you can see Colin Rea much better at home. ERA's down. WOBA's down. Strikeout to walk rate, way better at home. Almost 4 times better. Whip is way down. Just a 113 whip at home. So Colin Rea at home in Milwaukee's actually been pretty solid. And to take it a step further, look at his numbers against righties. 270 WOBA and a 116 whip. I mean, compared to his numbers against lefties, that's solid. He can pitch against righty bats, and this is Toronto. The whole lineup is righties. They're projected to have 7 righties in their lineup for this one. So Colin Rea's pitched well at home, and he's pitched well against righties. So I think he's going to pitch well. I actually like the spot for Colin Rea. On the other side, we got Jose Berrios, who obviously has been great this season. 280 ERA, 111 whip, 409 expected FIP, indicating he's had a little bit of good luck, but still he's been pitching really well. Last 3 starts, 225 ERA, 110 whip. Great looking numbers. But just like Colin Rea, the fact that this game's in Milwaukee is significant because Jose Berrios much better at home. Here he is on the road, 376 ERA, 345 WOBA. Home runs per 9 more than doubled. So yeah, the fact that this game's in Milwaukee, definitely something to take note of. And that's not new, by the way. Jose Berrios home away splits, that's been a thing for several years now. Now he's matched up against the Brewers bats, who as of late haven't been producing at the same level. You can see in the last 14 days, 12th, 13th, 11th. In the last 7 days, 17th, 17th, 16th. So it looks like the Brewers bats are cooling a bit, but that might just be because they were on a road trip. They played 6 straight road games. Look at their numbers at home. On the season, this is a top 3 lineup at home in Miller. Oh, it's not called Miller anymore. But this is a top 3 lineup at home last 30 days. Second in WRC+, second in OPS, second in WOBA. So the fact that this game's in Milwaukee, huge for the Bats. The last 6 righties to pitch against the Brewers, they're getting to righty starters. 5.57 ERA, 161 WHIP. And it's important to point out that Jose Berrios has done a lot of his damage this year against bad lineups. Against bottom 10 lineups versus righties, 2.08 ERA, 104 WHIP, excellent numbers. Look at his numbers against top 10 lineups versus righties. 4.08 ERA, 133 WHIP, 4.56 expected FIP. So he's definitely been significantly worse against top 10 lineups versus righties. And the Brewers at home at Miller, I did it again. It's not Miller anymore. But the Brewers at home are definitely a top 10 lineup versus righties. But again, just when I thought I had the handicap figured out for Berrios, we look at his righty-lefty splits, and he's actually been really, really good against lefty bats. 0.96 WHIP against lefties this year. Brewers are going to have 5 lefties in the lineup for this one, so that's actually a positive for Jose Berrios. And then look at his pitch mix. Throws a sinker, curveball. Those are his 2 main pitches. The Brewers in the last 30 days against those 2 pitches, 27th and 17th. And also he throws the 4-seam fastball, 18th in the last 30 days. So the Brewers are going to have 5 lefties in the lineup. Berrios has great numbers against lefties, and his particular pitch mix has given Milwaukee problems. So just when I think, oh, Milwaukee should smash Berrios, you see a couple things that indicate maybe he's going to pitch well. So up until this point, I'm thinking this handicap is really even. Things that go a lot of different ways in the first 5. I have it deadlocked, but then when we get to the bullpen, this is where we really start to find some value on Milwaukee. For starters, their bullpen's been just way better than Toronto's. In the last 30 days, Milwaukee 6th in ERA, 6th in WOBA, 8th in expected FIP. Toronto 21st, 23rd, and 21st. In the last 14 days, they've been even worse. And then if you look at the numbers on the road, because this game's in Milwaukee, Brewers bullpen has performed well at home. Toronto's bullpen on the road, not so much. In fact, in the last 14 days, they've been one of the worst bullpens in baseball on the road. As far as these 2 offenses in the late innings, pretty much deadlocked, both pretty average, so no edge there. So Milwaukee, huge edge in the late innings. And also, Toronto just played an extra inning game in Oakland. They used their entire bullpen, all of their arms. Now, they were rested, so they'll definitely be available to pitch again. But I definitely don't love the idea of that. Playing an extra inning game, throwing all of your major arms out there, then immediately flying from Oakland to Milwaukee. Meanwhile, the Brewers got to rest their main arms. So Brewers definitely have the edge in the late innings. That's definitely where I'll be going. I know that the Brewers are returning from a 6-game road trip without a day off, and I don't love that. But coming off a 10-2 ass beating that they just took, I think it's a great spot for him. I think it's a perfect spot to fade the Blue Jays too, coming off the extra innings game with the travel. So I'm going to be on Milwaukee on this one. Going to try to get a pick 'em, but I'll bet a -112 if I have to settle for that. I'm on the Brew Crew. Like I said earlier, live show, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern time. We'll go through WNBA first, then MLB. We'll go through every single game on the board. If you're able to make it, we'd love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets or top bets from everyone on the staff here, head over to KyleKirms.com and sign up for Sauce Network Plus. Also, registration for the betting league is officially open. The weekly betting league, $100 a week to the winner. So if you're a member of Sauce Network Plus, feel free to enter. It's free. So that's open right on the website as well. You also get access to the Discord with all that. So if you're interested in any of that, head over to KyleKirms.com. Let's have ourselves a nice Monday. It's definitely been a nice stretch for me. Hopefully that continues. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.